I know you guys probably don't believe me, but we are going to sit here and chat about the new baby, and I'm going to tell you the gender of the baby, and hopefully I'm going to get into birth plans, birth stories, maybe even why we are a large family, and we'll just see how long I can sit on my porch quietly and have this conversation with you guys. So let's just jump into talking all about baby number 8. So a few weeks ago, maybe it's been a month ago now, I am 27 weeks as of today, and I am due towards the beginning of July, so we really don't have that much longer to go. Liam was able to have a day out with mommy, and we went to the midwife, and the ultrasound technician was in, and we got to see that the baby is a boy. So our pattern holds true. We have had 2 boys and a girl, and 2 boys and a girl, and then we had Daniel, and now we have this baby, and we'll see how that pattern continues. But it's been boy, boy, girl, boy, boy, girl, boy, and now boy. So we have also settled on this baby's name is Benjamin David. Of course, we have a Jaden, a Zion, a Naomi, Gabriel, a Liam, an Amelia, a Daniel, and now a Benjamin. And with our first 3 babies, we did not realize that everybody in our family has an I in their name. But I was writing out Christmas cards around the time I was pregnant with Gabriel, and we hadn't settled on a name yet. And as I was writing the names on the Christmas cards, I realized, oh, wait a minute. Travis, Jamerrill, Jaden, Zion, and Naomi, we all have I's in our names. So whenever we picked Gabriel's name, we were looking for a name with a good, strong meaning that also had an I in it. So we were either going to keep the pattern of the I's or not, and so we have stuck with it. So everybody else's name has an I in it, and then when I write them all out, I can dot the I's with hearts or stars or whatever little embellishment I would like to add. So we all have I's in our names. And I don't think I'm going to be in order here. What I want to talk about is the new baby, birth plans. I'll get into my birth stories. So already in my mind, I'm subject jumping, topic jumping within our main subject here. So our first 6 babies we had at the hospital, I have used, basically it's been a doctor's office, but they also have certified nurse midwives on staff. And the last doctor office that I used for several pregnancies, as long as there were no major, history of pregnancy complications, and they probably have special guidelines for that, you could go through the certified nurse midwife. There's a few things that'll be different with, at least with the birth plans with this baby, and we'll get into that, but I'm trying to give you some history here. So, first 6 babies, certified nurse midwives in the hospital. All of those babies, I've had Pitocin with all of them. All of them I had an epidural. My epidurals have always worked wonderful. Then I was pregnant with Amelia, who was our 6th baby and our 2nd daughter. I wanted to go through the natural birthing center. And really my main reason for wanting to do that was we also have a new hospital in our area, and the rooms are just at the new fancy hospital, they are so small. And so I felt like by the time I had Liam, who was our number 5, cramming our larger than average family, my husband would come and he would have 3 or 4 kids with him, and kids would have to sit on the floor, and hospitals are dirty. And then we get home with a new baby, we'd all get sick with something. In fact, when I came home with Liam, baby number 5, we all had the full-blown, I felt like death's door flu within a week. The only one who did not get the flu was Liam, and that's because I was exclusively breastfeeding him, and even though I felt like I was going to die, he was getting all those good antibodies through my milk, and he didn't faze him at all. Everybody in the house was seriously sick, and I attribute that to us all having to be in the hospital the week before. So I'm not anti-hospital birth. I just feel like for our growing family, and because I haven't had any pregnancy complications, my births always go very well, and I'll get into those details. I thought by the time I had Amelia, and since I had the fresh memories in my mind of Travis coming with, 4 children, and there not being enough room for them to comfortably visit in the room with me. So I was in the hospital, by myself for 3 days. Now that's nice. I know moms enjoy that, and of course we all like to get a few days away. That's fun. But my family couldn't come visit me. And it was uncomfortable. Again, kids sitting on the floor, and then the flu. And so by the time we had Amelia, I was like, I want to try something different now. And so in our area, there's a natural birthing center that had opened, and I knew a few moms who had already used their services. And so the way that the birthing center is set up, it's not affiliated with the hospital, but it is super close. So we joke, if Travis had to pick me up and run me across the road, he could. And it's set up like a luxury hotel. There are birthing pools there. Also, I had a question before. Someone wanted to know if I don't know if there's multiple moms in the birthing center. There could be more than one mom in labor, but you have private rooms. Again, just like a luxury hotel. So my room when I had Daniel had a large bed, a pool, it had, the birthing stool, had all kinds of equipment any way I would want it. Now the reason that I didn't end up having Amelia there, so I was all set up, baby number 6, I was going to have her at the birthing center, and then at about 36 weeks pregnant, I fell down the stairs. I fell down the stairs hard. And it was already going to be something new for me to have a 100% unmedicated childbirth. And I don't really know you can't always explain all your feelings or understand them all, but after I fell, I just felt like, I just want to have her at the hospital. So all that being said, I was just dealing with, as moms, we have a lot of thoughts and feelings that go into our birthing plans. And I think ultimately as moms, we just need to support one another and not nitpick. I'm not nitpicking saying hospital birth is the only way to go, or home birth is the only way to go, or birthing center is the only way to go. I'm just saying what my experience has been. So with Amelia, I did not want to have her at the hospital. But after I fell down the stairs, something just changed in my mind and my heart, and I thought, oh, maybe, and you get so emotional towards the end of pregnancy. And I just thought, well, maybe I should have her at the hospital. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I do need my epidural every time. It just threw me into major second thoughts. So with Amelia, I went back through the midwives. They took me back in, no problem, that I'd used for several other births. And I had her at the hospital with an epidural. I was in the hospital pretty much by myself for those 3 days. I mean, Travis and the kids did come a few times, but again, there was hardly anywhere for them to sit. The hospital rooms are not very family friendly, and so that gets me on that rant. And so, Amelia and I had a lovely time, and I knew going into it that, it just wasn't going to be a family experience. So I had her at the hospital, again with an epidural. Now when I have epidurals, and then, they hook you up to so many IVs and various interventions that I've always dealt with, at least a solid week of major swelling. And I'm not talking about regular swelling that moms deal with having natural birth. I just mean, my hands, my feet, my legs. I have dealt with a lot of swelling afterwards. I take ibuprofen, I elevate my feet, all of that. But it's one more thing I've had to deal with. So whenever we went to have baby number 7, which was Daniel, and of course, we all know Daniel just turned 2, and he's running around like everyone else, and he's a big boy, and he's picking up sticks and jumping over streams and doing all the things, keeping up with all the kids now. When we went to have Daniel, I thought, okay, from the beginning, I'm going through the birthing center. I'm going to do this. We're going to do this. It's going to be great. I didn't get spooked. I went through the birthing center. Of course, I had read a lot, because it is different, if you have several births pain-free in the hospital with lots of interventions and all of that. I didn't know what to expect with natural childbirth. I figured that it would be, a wild and crazy experience actually pushing out the baby with no medication whatsoever. But then I also was relying on the fact that I'm a woman, and God made my body perfectly capable of birthing babies, and that with the 6 babies prior, I had, again, Pitocin and epidurals, but I didn't, I was never cut. I didn't have any major tears. Once it got time to push the baby out, it was always very quick. I knew the difference was, the logistics. I was going to push this baby out, and there was no going back. There was no pain medication. There was nothing fancy. But I just felt like it was going to go well, and I had a lot of peace about it. So with Daniel, my water, okay, so something else that happens with all my pregnancies is, I'm trying to think. I think with Naomi, no, I'm trying to think. No, with Naomi, they broke my water at the hospital, but my contractions were coming regularly. And then with Jaden, I believe they broke my water. But with everybody else, my water broke on its own at home. So I was waiting for that because, Gabriel, my water broke. Liam, my water broke. Amelia, my water broke. And so with Daniel, and with Zion, my water broke at home too. So with Daniel, I was just waiting because with my last 2 or 3 pregnancies, I've had a lot of, the several weeks of false labor. The contractions, they don't pick up a rhythm or any of that. So I know it's not the real deal, Lucille. But I was waiting for, I was praying, okay, Lord, help my water break so I know that I can just go in and have this baby and they won't send me back home. So my water broke, and from the time my water broke to actually holding Daniel was probably about 3 hours. It says, so far, between my hospital births and then my one birthing center experience was, I got to go home about 4 hours after having Daniel. So I was home, I was comfortable, I did not have the foot swelling, the lower legs, I didn't have any body swelling whatsoever. I healed incredibly fast. I was able to go home and snuggle with my baby and, have all the kids come into the room and visit with the baby often. And I could just rest and sleep and be with my baby. And the midwife then came out to the house in a few days. And, she looked into and checked in on the baby and I. But we didn't have to load everybody up. We didn't have to squeeze everybody into a small room that's not made for families. We didn't bring home, I'm not a big germaphobe, but we didn't all have to tramp through a hospital full of sick people and bring all the germs home. So with all of my other births, with Jaden's birth, I was 21. Travis and I got married. I was 18, about to turn 19. He was 21. I had just finished my first year of college. He was in his third. So we got married, and about 2 or so years later, we had Jaden. And again, epidural, hospital. I have a few little stories from there because I didn't know what meconium was. And that is the bowel movement that builds up in the baby. It's usually their first bowel movement after they're born. And you look for that. It's a black, tarry stool. Well, when that happened, no one had prepared me for that. And I wasn't a nurse yet or anything. And so I called to the nursery and explained this black poop that my baby had, and they laughed at me. So that was sad. I had some of those new mom experiences just with nurses and staff that didn't remember the perspective of being a brand new mom. And I didn't know what that was. I had no experience with that. So, but besides that, nothing. He was healthy, I was healthy, and that was my quick explanation of my birth with Jaden. With Zion, we were in the middle of moving, and I remember that night Travis had just moved in, but of course, I'm busy, so I was helping, and it was right around Zion's due date, so I was purposely pushing myself because I wanted to have that baby. So I remember, I was putting laundry in the washer, putting laundry in the dryer, doing dishes, marching around. Travis had moved in a bunch of appliances. We had ordered pizza. Jaden was 2, almost 3. And then that night, once we got into bed, it was probably within 10 minutes of me actually being settled, and my water broke. And I said, okay, my water broke. Let's go have this baby. And so with Zion, we had recently moved to the area. And the doctor I was using, I didn't use him again. With the midwife I used for Jaden, that was in another area. And whenever we moved here, I had just picked a doctor in the phone book in reference to having Zion. And there were several things I did not care for about using that doctor. And also when I went to have Zion, not that I had a big relationship with that doctor, but he was on vacation. And some doctor I didn't even know from out of the area delivered Zion. And, you know, it wasn't what I wanted in a birth experience. Then, but Zion was healthy, I was healthy, had an epidural, had no pain. You know, usually with my epidurals, I just take a nap, and then I push the baby out. The only thing that was a little startling with Zion is that his blood sugar dropped real quick, and I remember them rushing in, telling me they had to give him a bottle. But again, now that I'm aware of patient teaching, and that's also another thing, I am not an expert nurse, okay? But I do know just enough to be dangerous. And so when they rushed in telling me his blood sugar dropped and rushed back out, you know, there was no explanation. There was no patient teaching. I was about to start nursing school, and now I know someone should have stood there to educate me on what was happening with my baby and what they were doing and all of that, but no one did. Now, what was good about my experience with Zion was I remember one of the nurses who took care of me after I had him, she was excellent. And I remember watching her over a few days thinking, oh, I'm going to be a nurse. You know, she made nursing look good, which is good. So that was a good experience. And I was pregnant with little Naomi. What was different with that during that pregnancy is I was actually assaulted by a patient. One of our patients at the psychiatric hospital got confused one evening, and that patient was hollering at me, and he thought I was one of his daughters, and he would holler at me. And so I went into a patient's room just to check on him, and that gentleman who was confused had woken up and was hollering at me in the door to get out of the room, and they were cinder block walls. It was a state hospital, and I knew, you know, the Holy Spirit tells you things. I knew in my mind I needed to get past him to get out of the room, or he could hurt me very badly in that room because all the walls were cinder blocks. So I went to try to get by him, and he grabbed the top of my hair and threw me across the hallway, and I went into one of those metal rails on the wall. All that to say, I was very scared to go back to work after that for a season. So I just stayed home. I had been a nurse probably close to 2 years by that point. I just didn't work my standard weekend shift for a while until after Naomi was born. With having Naomi, I had a certified nurse midwife, and also you know, there's always doctors and other staff available. But I was in the hospital, I had my epidural, I had little Naomi. And then what was different with that was because I was already a nurse. So then when you are a nurse and you're in the hospital, you notice things. So that's another thing I deal with being in the hospital. I'm super sensitive to the profession. I am not a nurse extraordinaire, but again, I know just enough to be dangerous. So I was questioning, you know, the med orders and my swelling and my ability to get snacks, and I didn't want any students in the room because I knew what it was like to be a student, and then I knew all the, like, you know, jibber jabber that goes on behind the scenes. And so I just felt like, you know, my hormones are in a ball and I'm just fighting everybody. And so then with Gabriel, what was different? So with Gabriel, what was different is we were getting ready, and my mom was going to have a baby shower for him, and we had gone to that restaurant that day, and he still wasn't due for another 2 weeks or so. and my water broke 2 weeks early. So he was born at 38 weeks, but not that super early, but Gabriel was our only like truly bald baby, and he was our smallest baby. He was about 7 pounds 2 ounces. And again, bald as can be. And all of our babies have been, at least 8.5 pounds. Now they're getting, closer to 10. And because they have more room now to grow. But anyway, so Gabriel was our true, early little guy. And so then when I had Liam, again, Liam was another hospital birth. And that was a whole lot of fun. Again, that was the time I realized these rooms do not fit us comfortably, and we are bringing home a whole lot of germs. And I started to realize that maybe I had other options. And that was part of it too. I never really realized, I thought it was hospital birth or home birth. I didn't realize there were any in-between options. Now, I know I've been asked too about home births. Home births are great. I have lots of friends who have birthed a lot of children at home. However, it's not Travis's thing. He doesn't want me to birth at home. He can't handle it. It's not, again, just not his thing. I would be open to doing a home birth, but I think that what we have found, at least so far with the birthing center, is like a good in-between. I can have the baby there. I can have a professional with me. I can be close to the hospital. And at least last time that worked well. Also, I'll say that if I ever had to go to the hospital, I would certainly go to birth. And there might come a time where I need to have a baby at the hospital. And that's where we'll be. So I think I've told the story backwards a little bit, but I already shared about Liam. I'm trying not to be too redundant. I've already shared about Liam and Amelia's births and then Daniel's birth. So looking back at my birthing center experience, again, everything went quick there. The midwife and her assistant were excellent. They are very encouraging of water births, and they have everything there to birth in the water. When I got in the water with Daniel, dealing with unmedicated contractions and all of that, I didn't feel like I had, like it was slippery. I mean, they put handles in the tub, but I didn't feel like I could get comfortable. I felt like I would need some training to really be able to birth in the water, and it worked for me. I've heard wonderful stories. Moms love it. They say it's the way to go. But I was just in there floundering around, feeling irritated that I was in a tub of water and I wanted out. So I did try for about an hour. But again, it just was irritating. It wasn't it for me. Like irritating, the kids are playing with the dogs if you hear the hooting and hollering. That's just my pregnancy stance. I just feel irritated. All the hormones, all the feelings. And so I'm trying not to be snarky. I'm trying not to sound snarky. But in pregnancy, it just really brings it out of me. So I was irritated at that tub. I was irritated at that water. I wanted out of there. And once I got out of the tub, I will say in less than 30 minutes, I had Daniel. I had him pretty much on the floor. I mean, they pushed a birthing stool under me, but I just went with what was intuitive. It was intuitive for me to squat down and have that baby, and of course gravity and everything else. It just helped get the job done. So that's my birth plan this go round with Benjamin David. I want to go to the birthing center. I want to stay out of that water because I don't want that water. And I want to be able to just sit down and have that baby. The big new thing that I'm doing with this birth is I'm going to have a doula. I have never had a doula. I'm learning about doulas, and I know several of you ladies are doulas and are midwives and are birthing coaches, and I just think it's a wonderful thing. I think a different season of life I would have thought, I'm going to be a doula. So anyway, a doula is what their job is they are going to, it's going to be a lady, she's going to be with me, I know her already, and she is going to focus on me the entire time, because the midwife really focuses on, making sure I'm safe, the baby's safe, and the actual delivery. A doula, like Naomi's explanation is, it sounds like she's your personal servant. That's pretty much it. I need someone to, bring me ice. I need someone to tell me different, if I can't think And you know how during labor and delivery you can't always think for yourself. You can't always advocate for yourself. Just like me being in the water for an hour and feeling irritated, I feel like a good doula would have been able to see this water is not working for her, and let's try these other two things and see if they work. I can't think of those kind of things when I'm there birthing a baby. So the doula is there to just be another mind for me. Again, Travis will be there, but ladies, I always tell people, you know, unless you want to pick the 6'6" man off the ground, you need to leave him alone. So he is not a dad that is going to deliver the baby or is going to be, you know, in the tub of water with me or any of that. We just have to kind of respect what each one of us can handle. And so anyway, that's again why I need a doula, because not all dads deliver babies and not all dads can handle it. So that's the big difference with Benjamin David. I'm getting myself a doula, and I hope to just go and have the baby and then take a nice long nap and then come home and rest at home. And my mom may come, Travis will be home, we'll have food and meals available. You know, we've just been at this a while, so it's not super complicated. I don't feel like I have to have a month's worth of dinners in the freezer, but I do feel like we need a good grocery shopping trip, and between Travis and everybody else, they can make meals while I rest and, you know, marathon nurse the baby. So anyway, I know I'm in full ramble now, but I think I've answered all the questions of the birth stories and some timeline, and you now know we're having a baby. It's a boy. His name is Benjamin David. Oh, I can tell you about the name thing here real quick. So when we had Amelia, our boy name was Daniel. So we've had several years of talking about baby Daniel, even before I was pregnant with Daniel. And not long after we had Amelia, the kids and I, with brand new baby Amelia, were grocery shopping, of course, because that's what we do. And someone came up and was talking about cute little Amelia, and little Naomi said, and Naomi was 6 when Amelia was born. Little Naomi said, we also have a baby brother named Daniel, but he's in heaven with Jesus. And the poor woman, you know, she thought we had lost a child. And I had to explain to her that our boy name was Daniel, and that since we had a girl, our next baby will probably be baby Daniel. And he's in heaven with Jesus since we haven't had him yet. And so with Daniel, we had the name Daniel Joel. Once, you know, we already knew that was our boy name still. So one of the names that I liked when I was pregnant with Daniel was Benjamin David. I really like the name David as a first name too, but I think having a Daniel and a David, you know, a few years apart, I'm going to be fumbling around my D's all the time. So I like the combination of Benjamin David. That's what we're going with. It was a fairly easy decision. Some girl names that I like that we're not, I've seen the videos, you know, girl names that I like but we're not using. And I know time-wise I'm not going to be able to sit down. It's already been hard enough for me this evening, although it's been fun, but I've had lots of little interruptions to sit here and get this long promised video. So I'm probably not going to film a girl names that I love but I'm not using type video. But a few girl names that I do love that maybe you'll hear from me in a few years. I love the name Lydia. I love the name Annalise. I know we do have an Amelia. But obviously we can't have children with the same first letter. It's just nice if they're not back to back in my head, or that may be just fine. Also for a boy name, I like the name Levi. But it just feels like this baby is Benjamin David. Everyone's called him Benjamin David. Naomi's been calling him Benny Boo. We've just been calling him cute things already. Liam will come up and hug my stomach and say, I love you, Benjamin David. So we're, you know, he has been named. And I don't know what else, guys. I feel like this video has grown incredibly long-winded, but I'm going to let you go now. Thank you for watching this whole thing. If you want the 10 large family table dinner recipes free book, you just text the word 10 recipes to 44222, and I will shoot that back out to you. So I'll see you next time with another brand new video. Bye-bye.